Hello, my name is Feldrin and welcome back to Dungeon Siege 3. So, we've got to decide what to do with the dapper old gent. Well, the vote went firmly in favor of letting him stay with the Legion, so that is exactly what we're going to do. After this conversation, the cutscenes that I'm going to show you are first of all the cutscene that you would get as an immediate consequence to this choice, and second the cutscenes that you would get only at the end of the game. The cutscenes that belong to the obvious choice, if we were to arrest him, I'll show you next episode. Alright, so let's get it on with.
We'll take custody of the gent. He won't trouble your city any further.
I, for one, am convinced by his story. I cannot approve, but I understand.
I must vigorously protest. This madman tried to bring down the city. I'll not have him running loose.
My word that I leave you in peace, Constable, on the following terms. First, that your fine council grants full support to the Legion. Second, that you find the ones who slaughtered my Legion brothers, if they yet live, and hold them to account.
I dare say we have little choice, sir. Very well. I agree to your terms. That's one matter settled, but we still owe the Legion a vote. I'll convene the council at once.
Was this then what the Legion had become? A bitter old man bent on revenge? I didn't want to believe it. The gent was a true man of the 10th, and its ideals still lived in his heart. Though the gent had committed terrible crimes, the Legion had need of his knowledge. His skills would serve no one if he went to the noose. So the dapper old gent returned to the chapter house, his crimes forgiven in the eyes of the Legion, if not the people of Stonebridge. We have gained a powerful ally, and the people of Stonebridge have pledged themselves to our cause. As long as Jane Cascinder remains a threat, they have little choice. Only a few weeks later, elections were held in Stonebridge. Meister Wolf, who had been so public in his support of the Legion, almost won the office of mayor. But he was defeated in the end. Many people had wanted the dapper old gent to hang. They resented the fact that the Legion had spared his life, and they blamed poor Wolf. Archambault du Payen, formerly known as the dapper old gent, proved a valuable addition to the Legion. His knowledge of Legion magic allowed us to retake control of the Sentinels that had long guarded our chapter houses and estates. But the gent couldn't leave our chapter house without drawing an angry mob. His confinement started to drive him mad. So he returned to his beloved causeways, beneath an endless sky, and he dwells there still.
Gentlemen and goblins, order! Council will address the proposed alliance with the 10th Legion.
Circumstances have indeed changed since we last spoke. I now find myself addressing the savior of our city. Does the Legion envoy have anything further to say before a vote is called?
Our purpose is to serve the people of Ebb, not to impose our will upon them. We'll honor whatever decision you make.
Spoken like the Legionnaires of old. That'll play well. Or they'll murder us all. But probably it will play well.
Very good. No reason to postpone our decision any further. All those in favor of the alliance vote aye. Those opposed vote nay.
First Constable votes aye.
Chief Barrister votes aye.
Guild of Ironmongers reminds the Council of the considerable cost of the events in the Foundry. Are we now to pay for the Legion's war as well?
First, the Guild abuses its workers. Now it votes against the savior of our city? I wonder what the people will do when they hear. And I promise that they'll hear.
Guild of Ironmongers respectfully abstains.
Master of the College votes aye.
3 votes in favor, 1 abstention. As mayor of the city, I shall join the majority and vote aye. Be it resolved then that an alliance is declared between the city of Stonebridge and the 10th Legion. May our enemies tremble with dread.
I'd like to thank the Council for putting its faith in the Legion.
Of course. You are the savior of our city. Ask any favor of us, and the answer will be yes.
Will you send your automaton army to attack Jane Cassinder? We can take her by surprise and end the war.
The army? When I said any favor, I didn't actually mean...
Capital! I can have the automatons ready in short order! Shall I make ready to leave? I should warn you, we may not return to Stonebridge again before this war is over.
How many automatons are left? I destroyed a lot of them.
The Gent only managed to take control of about half of our automatons, and not all of those were destroyed, so the army is intact. Jane's forces may outnumber us, but her soldiers have never faced automatons before. I dare say that will work in our favor.
I think now's a good time to go and do the DLC. We also have one more side quest to finish off in Stonebridge, so we need time.
Start preparing your army. I'm not ready to leave just yet.
We'll make good use of the time. Perhaps I can repair a few more of the automatons and improve our odds a bit.
Yes, talking to him is just going to initiate the same conversation about sending off our army, and that is the last side quest we have to finish over here.
I believe we promised to investigate those who committed crimes against the Legion. Several culprits have confessed, but I need a plaintiff. I have 3 outstanding legal matters, charges of theft and murder. In accordance to Stonebridge law, the wronged party must press charges. In other words, the city cannot convict until the Legion serves the guilty party with intent of justice.
Why can't the city take these people to court? If the victim has to be alive to press charges, how do you ever go to trial for murder?
It's called the Rusk-Ketzler Clause. Started when some drunken braggart wrote a pile of accusations in his will. Hundreds were dragged through needless court trials. The law now requires a next of kin to willfully enact charges from dead claimants. We needed a next of kin of the Legion to move ahead with these charges, and, well, you're the first Legionnaire we've met in years.
Why did the city not pursue these cases earlier? I have a hard time believing you only recently found out these men were guilty.
Yes, well, the events of 30 years ago were a miscarriage of justice. I can't make excuses, but I can reopen the casework.
If these people committed crimes against the Legion, we'll find them. Give me the details.
There are 3 offenders. Frederick Pratt's, charges of theft. Rudolph Maxwell, theft and murder. Wenzel, charges of murder. As inheritor to the Legion, I give you right of accuser in these matters. Press charges or drop the claims as you see fit. These court filings will tell you where the offenders may be found. I leave it to you to decide settlements or charges.
I'll hear what they have to say and return with my verdicts.
Our business is concluded then. Good day to you, Legionnaire.
Alright, so we're now supposed to enact some justice. I believe I also owe you some of the cutscenes of the obverse choices that we've done so far. Like, for example, what if we hadn't gone to the Heroes Crypt? And the other one, I believe, yes, what if we had sided with Castle instead of with Fiddlewick in the matter of the Cyclopses?
Turning again. Wonderful piece of industry.
I'll put those cutscenes at the end of this episode for concerning the Heroes Crypt as well as the Cyclopses. Now that we've completed a whole bunch of stuff throughout the entire city, let's see whether the citizens have something new to say.
If it isn't the hero of Stonebridge. You know, I happen to have an eligible son who would love to meet you.
I didn't think the dapper old gent was real.
Shows what I know. The city is in your debt, to be sure.
I've thought about putting the matter of what to do with the criminals up to a vote, but as we'll find out, most of them are rather pitiful creatures, and so far we've shown a tendency towards leniency, so let's just go with that.
Hey, do I know you? I think you owe me a drink. Because I need a drink.
Wenzel, 30 years ago you served as a watchman for the city, did you not?
Aye, that's me. Do you know me? Because if you know me, you'd know it's my birthday. We should celebrate. You got any rum?
No, I don't have any rum. I'm here about charges of murder.
Huh? Murder? I haven't done... You must be mistaking me for... Who are you? This about that Legion? I spit on the Legion, dirty sons of whores, I tell you! Remind me who they are again? Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I'm gonna vomit. No, never mind. It passed. Hey, who used my pants as an outhouse?
I guess that as a former watchman, and especially with charges of murder, that he should be held to a higher standard, and that is exactly what Anjali would have us do, drag him to trial. But we are with Reinhard, and we've already pushed the city far enough, I think, with the matters of the dapper old gent, so let's not press charges on the poor old drunk.
What a pathetic sight you are. I think you've already punished yourself enough.
Wise decision. This man's life is in shambles. A bit of mercy is the best thing for him. Not that he'd notice.
What? Who are you again? Did I tell you about the time when catskin hats were in fashion? I need to find somewhere to sleep.
Oh, I've also just noticed that we now have 4 orbs instead of 3. I guess that progresses throughout the story. Oh, that's nice. Alright, onwards to the next one. So, the next person, Rudolph Maxwell, charges of theft and murder. There is no influence opportunity with Reinhard, so I've quickly switched to Lucas for a bit.
You're not taking volunteers, are you? The ladies do fancy a Legion man.
Hello there. Not everyone wanders Stonebridge armed to the teeth, so I'm assuming you're the Legionnaires everyone's been talking about. Where are my manners? The name's Rudolph Maxwell. What can I do for you today?
Might I ask how old you are? I may have the wrong man.
A score in 4 years. I only just finished my apprenticeship. Wait a minute. You're looking for my father, aren't you? Is this about his role in the riots? That happened before I was born, but I inherited that bastard's forge, so I guess I inherit his debts. So, the man you're looking for is dead, but I'll settle his mistakes. What did he steal? What do I owe you?
The only thing we would get out of this are probably a few hundred or thousands, perhaps an item. I don't think that's worth it.
That's noble of you, but if the guilty party is dead, there's nothing to be settled.
True enough. No need to make him suffer for his father's mistakes.
Much obliged. You're not the first to track me down on account of his sins. About time I got my name changed. Well, good luck to you. Glad the Legion is back in Stonebridge.
And that leaves us with one more to go. The other option, where we would ask for some contributions from Rudolph Maxwell, was of course the influence opportunity for Katerina. Alright, and let's go to the third one.
Ah, back again. What can I do for you?
The Legion has returned, and you need to stand trial for your crimes against us.
What? That's ridiculous. I wasn't even living in Stonebridge when the chapter house was sacked.
I have the legal papers right here. The only thing that saved you was that no Legionnaires were alive to formally press charges.
I guess it was going to come to this eventually. I had a good run, it feels like a lifetime ago. But I took part in that terrible riot. I stole several artifacts from the chapter house, But I don't have them anymore. I sold them all. Used the funds to open my shop. I regret my actions. Not the life it afforded me. I'll fight you in court if you press charges. Or we can settle this some other way.
This is the only guy that I think I'd make an argument for pressing charges or actually asking him to give us money with the "you owe us" choice, but that would be with Katerina. I still stick to Reinhard, so let's just go for an apology.
You're right, it was a lifetime ago. I'll be happy with a sincere apology and I'll consider the matter forgiven.
That's far too generous. I'm not deserving of this. I deeply regret having grown rich off of someone who shows such mercy.
Good. Forgiveness is a pillar of the Legion. So is academic rigor, but annotating footnotes sounds less heroic.
You have my deepest apologies. And there is one Legion trinket I didn't sell. It's not much, but it belongs to you.
Besides, with Reinhard it just feels more satisfying to go with the forgiving options.
Good day to you, Legionnaire. Let me know when you've followed up on those legal matters.
Rudolph is dead. Wenzel is near death's door, and Frederick isn't worth taking to court. There's no need for any trials.
30 years is a long time to let fair justice slumber. My thanks to you for resolving this matter. Here is fair compensation for your time. Now, if you'll excuse me, a very rich lady just died and left her belongings to her cats, and I am pursuing a very complicated lawsuit against them.
Alright, let's head back to the Legion chapter house and continue with, well, actually yes, go and start the DLC.
I thought this town was done for when those automatons went mad. Maybe I was wrong about the Legion. Time will tell.
I don't know what all this rabble is doing in my chapter house. Go out, come on. And you too, why are you still around here? Jesus. I think there's also the dapper old gent. Let's see what he has to say.
I should apologize. I left traps and wards to guard this place. They were meant for looters, not for you.
You visited the chapter house often?
Quite the opposite. I avoided this place and all the memories it stirred. It seemed wrong to set foot here, when all my brothers and sisters could not.
It's all right. You were trying to protect the chapter house.
Jane buried the Legionnaires in a mass grave outside of town. Unmarked, of course. Might as well have been a midden pit. This chapter house was as close a thing to a monument as they had. You understand. It was important that I keep it safe.
Alright, let's also find out whether Martin and Odo have something new to say.
I'll be going with you to the spire. Odo will stay here, though he isn't happy about it.
Martin insists that I stay behind. Too old for another war, he says.
Oh, come on. I think Odo is more useful than Martin in any case. Oh well. Now let's head onward to the DLC character.
Begging your pardon, but I was asked to speak to you. To tell the truth, the circumstances were rather unusual.
All right. Tell me why you're here.
Years ago, I served as butler to a Legion commander, Etienne Dumanet. When the Legion fell, it was said that my employer died in Stonebridge, killed by Jane and her mobs. But that was a lie. Dumanet fled north, to the Abbey of St. Hiram, at the edge of the Erinoy Desert. He was seeking something there, but he never told me what it was.
Do you have any idea what he might have been after?
No. But the Abbey was built upon an ancient site. It's surrounded by ruins, and they date from the time of the Old Empire. Dumanet's family could trace their line back to the founding of Ebb. Perhaps they knew something about the place that others have forgotten.
Did you tell anyone else about this?
No one. I swore that I would keep silent, and I did. As far as I know, Dumane didn't tell any of the other household servants where he was going. So you are the first to hear of this.
After all these years, are you sure he isn't dead?
I must confess, I assumed he was dead. Caught by Jane Cassinda or slain by brigands in the desert. But now... A few nights ago, I had a dream. A child appeared before me. A boy with golden hair. He assured me that Dumane had reached the Abbey. The boy said that he is still there, waiting for his comrades. Waiting for you.
You're sure he meant me?
He spoke of you by name. I know it sounds mad, but... The boy was no mere dream. I believe that Dumane may still be alive, and I beg you to seek him out.
You're still loyal to this man, even after so many years?
Lord Dumane was a good man, uncommonly kind. When he fled, he divided his fortune among his servants. It was more than any of us could have earned in a lifetime. I used those coins to buy a house in Stonebridge, and I haven't had to work in all the years since. Dumane didn't have to provide for us, but he did. And I am not the sort of man who forgets a debt, or a kindness.
We don't abandon our own. We'll go to the Abbey, and see if Dumane is still there.
Have no fear, my good man. We are professionals at this sort of thing.
The Abbey is a long way from here, many weeks on foot. The child said you could take the causeway. He told me you'd know what that means.
How remarkably convenient. I wonder if the causeways go to every part of Ebb, or only to the interesting parts.
Then I've done as the child asked, and I will entrust the matter to you. If you find Dumane, tell him he is not forgotten. His old retainers and friends still honor his family's name, and we will welcome his return.
Alright, before we go and do that, I think I'm going to have to do some shopping throughout Stonebridge first, so I think this is it for this episode, and I'll see you next time in the Aeronoid Desert. Alright, have a good evening.
The following winter was a harsh one in the Rukenval, just as Lazar Basili feared. Without any trade from the south, the people of Raven's Rill went hungry, and many died. Among them were the widow Ludmilla and Lazar's friend and scribe Grigori. When spring came, the dead were mourned, and Lazar's people did their best to carry on. The Guild of Ironmongers became more profitable than ever, thanks to the harsh terms of servitude imposed upon the Cyclops workers in the foundry. By all accounts, Meister Kessel became the richest man in the city, but he did not forget his debt to us. His guild donated fine suits of armor, blades, and guns to the Legion, enough to equip an army when we finally replenish our ranks.